What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 18 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz campaign. So as we saw last time, Peter and Gregor have moved out from protecting Fort Berg-Bray and Helmgart and thereafter Blackstone Post and Carrick-Ziflin to advance towards Aquitaine and Bordelot. We defeated Grom the Paunch's main stack in the field, though of course he does remain alive, and forced him back to Aquitaine, where we're about to attack him again and hopefully destroy this army for good and then take these territories. Mostly it's Bordelot that we're after, and since Brionne was captured and the Warherd of the Shadowgave destroyed, the Bloodgrounds no longer prevent Bordelot from being taken by Couronne, meaning we probably won't have a better chance to take it. They will take it over eventually, and they will never give it back because it'll cost too much money. So, in that light, this is what we're doing. In addition to that, of course, Karl, I still can't shake it. Karl is in siege of Waldenhoff. We are well into Sylvania now, and they're, let's say, in trouble. We will advance upon Castle Drakenhof shortly, though with even better defenses by the looks of it, as we will not get there by the time these places complete. But we still, I'm fairly confident, should be able to take it out, especially since we got 2 more mortars in tow, and they will be very useful for the siege. Now, the first thing we gotta do is, I guess, well, probably attack Grom the Paunch, so let's do that. Do either of you need any points assigned? You do not, but what we could do right now, since we do have the money, is get both the Sterlin's Revenge and the White Wolves in here. They're both gonna get into this army eventually, so...
What orders?
Gregor, you will take, let's say, this damaged archer and then this lower level archer. Like so. I'm almost tempted to swap out the Free Company as well. And these guys do benefit from Pistol Corps as well, and frankly, they're probably going to be more useful to us than the regular archers are. You know what? Let's do this. Let's take... this guy's high level. Let's do this. 1 for 1 archer. And 2 for another one, I think. Nah, but then... nah, never mind. It was a good idea, but not a good enough of an idea, because this guy gives the archers extra range, and they already have such low range that, frankly, not making good use of that would be a bad idea. So we'll just take these 2, like so. Then, you are still in range, yes? You will attack here after getting your ringers, which are going to be Sterlin's Revenge and the White Wolves here. Lovely. And that should power up this army. You are going to move in now with trenches, so another missile strength and ammunition increase as well. And Gregor is obviously going to follow. Alrighty, decisive defeat. The game is certainly giving a lot of value to the enemy armies, and it does make sense considering what we've encountered so far. You can move in camp stance or trenches, and I think trenches is still the way to go, mostly because there's a pretty large amount of ranged units in this particular army, so we can still make good use of them. Assuming that the stance actually applies, and I'm pretty sure it does. Let's put you right here. Just close enough, hopefully, to attack Bordelot next turn. Also, should double-check factions encountered right now. I don't actually see factions encountered, which means that we are free from such. Let us move in and attack, shall we? Oh, maybe I should have moved you behind so that you don't attack this from the side. Well, either way. Also, is this a minor settlement or no? This is a field battle, yes? Yeah, by the looks of it, it's a field battle, which works for us. Sigmar killed many greenskins, and as will I. Well, I guess we'll see about that. One unfortunate little error that I made at the start of this battle was I put the Lord forward so that he could advance a little bit with the Huntsman and annoy the enemy. Unfortunately, I forgot about the frickin' handgun summoning, and it popped on top of the Lord, and this immediately looks like it made the enemy army react and rush towards us. Maybe because the handgunners were in range, or maybe because the catapults were enraged, but it looks like they ain't waiting for our reinforcements. They're gonna attack us directly, so we'll have to deal. Here we go. Alright, ooh, and this is, I guess, the first look we're getting at the White Wolves huntsmen, who look pretty nice, to be frank. I do wish that we could reuse this model to get Ulrikite huntsmen in general. Would be nice for an Ulrikite army. And now I'm tempted, and now I'm wondering whether these guys should be in this army, or whether they should be in the Ulrikite army later on. Not to think about that as well. But anyway, the Sterling's Revenge is also here somewhere, though yeah, they're right there. I see those different color scheme, and they have the Sterling's color. Well, they have green and yellow. And the symbol on Sterling is green and red, like these guys are, as I recall, but I guess their color scheme must be green. Oh, they've got red feathers as well in their caps. There we go. They got all the colors. Lovely. Well, we'll see how they perform, but for now, it's the Orc Boar Boys that we're going to have to deal with. They are charging forward. We're actually going to countercharge them with our Lord. Granted, he'll get hurt, but he's not going to die from this, and he'll stop their charge in their tracks. Ooh, I just saw him fire point blank and knock one of those Boar Boys off their sleds. So this will allow the handgunners to also fire pretty much point blank, and all the huntsmen to do so as well. And with these guys charge stop, they should melt extremely quickly. As soon as they rout, the huntsmen immediately switch targets to the enemy pump wagons instead, who also charge our Lord and knock him around a little bit, but also get destroyed for their trouble. Last one going down. There we go. Good job to the handgunners and the huntsmen. At least they've done an okay amount of damage. We'll see whether the boar boys come back. But the enemy did... they probably charged them in a little bit too early. Granted, they might have taken advantage and killed one of our units of handgunners if they had caught up quickly enough, but they lost 2 units without support from the rest of their army. Kind of interesting, actually, that it only advanced those 2 units of boar boys, because we still have more pump wagons and more boar boys here that could have advanced at the same time. I guess a little bit of a skirmish. On the bright side, the reinforcements arrived fairly quickly at 1 minute and 40 seconds, I think it was, or something along those lines, so we should get them up and running before the enemy main line, at least, gets here. We did leave the handgunners a little bit exposed out in the center, but that's okay, because the Goblin Rocklobbers will destroy them eventually, but it is a summoned unit, and frankly, I'd rather the Goblobbers destroy a summoned unit instead. We can still back them off a little bit as well. In favor of sending the... oh, the arrows are coming in favor of sending forward the halberdiers, which are also summoned and are marching forward. Here comes the charge of the boar boys. And these guys are going to distract them. And of course, once the handgunners rout, we can simply make them come back. They won't die to a man. And they don't have that kind of leadership. And here come the halberdiers charging through the ranks of the handgunners there to go after the boar boys. And actually looks like they forced them to get engaged. Or, nope, they're going to turn around again. The AI is too good at disengaging. But yeah, there we go. Our battle lines are forming on both sides of the map. Looks like Grom has also charged in, and we have our Sterling's Revenge and all our free companies firing at him, plus a decent amount of huntsmen as well as the Empire archers, so he should drop extremely quickly. I'm sure we'll get a few stray shots into our own units, but it'll be worth it to bring him down before he can accomplish anything. Alright, ooh, nice swing from his axe, but it's not going to be enough, and he should drop now. Okay, no, not so much. There we go. I could never get it quite on cue. Oh well. Good enough. And here comes some trolls, quite a limited number here at only 4 though, and they're discouraged as well. And our free companies, as well as all of our archers and huntsmen, should be able to gun these guys down. More pump wagons moving in with more boar boys, but the pike... oh my lord, that's brutal. And the pikemen should be able to hold to at least some degree. Over on this side, we are advancing forward. Our lord has moved onto the field, and damn it, again I forgot to put him on his mount. Somebody please remind me, I'm gonna forget again. Oh, my bad. Though I guess, I'm just now wondering, if we end up sieging border low, maybe it would actually be better to send him up on the walls if we bother to fight. It depends on what kind of garrison the enemy has there. We do have quite the numbers after all. Anyway, we do have our single unit of healthy swordsmen holding back the flank over here from the enemy attack, and the orc boar boys are not getting through, which allows all of our crossbows and such to fire. Now, these guys unfortunately did change position to attack the trolls, but this does mean that they will get pretty damaged by the enemy ranged fire coming in on them. But it's still more valuable to take out the trolls, even at the cost of archers, or especially at the cost of archers. We are going to be deleting plenty of archers fairly shortly, as it's no longer really all that worth it to pay for them. Pay for their upkeep, I mean, especially when we can build huntsmen and they're so significantly better. And can outrange crossbows at that. Alrighty, well, the swordsmen are still holding the line. We've also sent our arch-elector to join his halberdiers, though they are now in fairly low numbers, in the middle of the fray here, and he's obviously going to pop his grand soulfire to do a lot of damage to all those units. The halberdiers coming in very handy just for allowing the enemy to blob up, and our arch-elector to pop that damage. And wow, with his stats pretty insane when he has popped everything that he has. Damn. 7797 for a, what level are you, level 13 unit that doesn't have any buffs to himself is pretty darn good. Yeah, and we also got to remember that several of these effects are actually AoE effects as well. Anyway, with Grom dead, and it looks like the majority of the trolls, with the exception of these two, and done for, the enemy's in pretty bad shape already. It looks like we've also managed to finally get to the enemy artillery pieces back here, where our free company charged them directly, and will be hunting them down before returning to chase after the enemies. We do have range superiority now, as one of the enemy range units is out, and well, I guess we had range superiority from the beginning, but it is nice that we won't be taking nearly as much range damage. More units are going to have to move forward to the main line, however, as the halberdiers are done, and we're not going to leave our arch-lector, even with the stats that he has, out there alone. Alright, but he's going to catch up and start swinging away at those river trolls, but it looks like the vast majority of the enemy main line has collapsed. A few more units will probably charge in, including the trolls that have rallied. But the enemy just doesn't have the numbers anymore. And there we go. Trolls keep taking range shots. It must be extremely irritating to get hit by so many arrows and quarrels at the same time, and irritating enough by the looks of it to force the entire enemy army to start routing. I believe the chain route should be here any second, and ooh, and we can see our free company militia, though they were facing forward, firing into the back of this Black Orc big boss who is going after our huntsman, which is quite valuable. And as we move away, we can also fire on him from other directions. Very nice. Basically, getting range hits from every single side on him, and he should go down now. Can't use that shield from every direction after, oh my lord, he got absolutely ripped apart. His head falls off. Oh, poor guy. I feel bad, but not really. Alrighty, well, there we go. Grom's main army is dead, the defending garrison done for as well, and it looks like we didn't really suffer all that many losses. We did put the pikes out front, so they did rout, and the remnants of them are back here, but they also started the battle with like 30% HP or something like that. They blunted the charges of the enemy, and that's all that we needed for our range to clean house, and for them to bring us this apparently close victory. Alrighty, not too bad, a little bit over 10% losses, but at the end of the day, not a single unit destroyed. It was a little bit difficult to see in this particular situation, but once again, another thing I like about the free company units is the fact that when the enemy breaks through your line, like say the Black Orc Big Boss or whatever, and breaks through your line, right past the melee, past the free company, and into the archers, but the free company, without turning around, can still fire through their back into the enemy's back as they're attacking the archers, which can be really helpful in certain situations. And another reason to have them as a sort of secondary line behind your direct melee when you're taking them. I love the unit. Alrighty, well, we are obviously going to occupy Aquitaine, which will allow us to heal in this territory, which will be ours for now. Gregor, you are going to move, let's say... Well, you don't need magic, so you're going to go here. We just need to make sure that we're close enough to Bordelot to attack. Of course, there is the concern that these guys will move to Aquitaine, but... Oh, hello! We have a Shrine of Sigmar. Huh. Well, isn't that interesting? Burn the Undead... Oh, wow, we have two at the same time, eh? Too bad I don't like any of their traits. Burn the Undead it's too niche. Like, it should really provide way more leadership, like +5 leadership for the army, at least. And then maybe they'd be worth taking, but in the currently not so much. Monster Tracker campaign movement range, I take it, is only for you yourself, and not for any other units, which is also kind of unfortunate. So really, what do you provide for the army? Just the chance of intercepting an army? Yeah, it's kind of weak. And Confident does give does give extra experience, but at 1,000 gold for this, it's kind of meh. You know what, we're going to keep the structure here. We may mill through some units in a little bit. I don't think we need the blacksmith here, however, even if it does provide garrison. Oh, wow. Garrison here is quite strong by virtue of both the blacksmith and the Shrine of Sigmar, but nonetheless we'll probably want to replace this with growth pretty much immediately. Let's also uncollect the income for at least a couple turns, get it up as high as we can manage, and then we'll turn it back on, especially considering we'll get provincial instability if we manage to take Bordelot before these guys do. So yeah, you out, you stay. I would like to get some warrior priests, and ironically there was a comment asking about when we'd be getting warrior priests or why I'm not using them so far, and the answer to that is simply that there wasn't a place to build them. We only have 2 provinces currently. The Wasteland is still currently building its economy, and will probably be doing so for quite a while, whereas Reikland was kind of in the same, but its military structures, there's really nothing that we could replace to get the warrior priests here. Everything was pretty critical, so yeah, basically that's the reason. Fun that we have one now, and there's a good chance I'll be putting one in Karl's army because they can help the melee lines quite a bit, and the Empire captain that I originally wanted to put into Karl's army wouldn't fit anymore because, well, it doesn't buff great swords with its armor, which is still annoying, but it is what it is. Now, in terms of what else we gotta do this turn, once again, we could upgrade that, but I feel like it's not worth 1,000 gold right now. I'm kind of looking at the prestige. Yeah, I'm aware that we'll get Talabecland on our side soon, but if we could get a little bit more Imperial Authority, we could probably have the 10th level for at least a couple turns, which would be great. It'll essentially make up for any prestige that we waste. The problem here, though, is the fact that if we attack Waldenhoff, let's say we gain, I don't know, 500 prestige from that. If we look at Electoral Machinations right now, and we go for, let's say, Stirland, which I believe is at 9... Yes, it'll take 4.2k, which means if we have a dilemma right afterwards, we won't be able to make use of it. Which I don't like the idea of. I want to have a bank of about 2,000 prestige or something along those lines, so I think we'll have to wait, unfortunate as it is. Because the dilemma could cause us to lose Imperial Authority, or miss out on gaining Imperial Authority, or vice versa, or whatever. Well, actually not vice versa, but not good is what I'm saying. Now, in terms of what we gotta do this turn, Eckhart, Ditizen, and Recruiter. Alright, you guys, march on towards Aquitaine. Well, towards Bordelot, but ooh, I wonder, would you be able to help with Bordelot? Maybe. Try to go this way. Hopefully there isn't like a secret Skaven army that was waiting to kill Recruiter. It would be unfortunate. Eckhart, you're also going to join one of these armies, at least temporarily. And we'll move you both forward shortly. Alrighty, so these guys have moved. Bernhardt, you can go back into regular stance so you don't cost us more money. And our money is in trouble right now, but it'll get fixed soon, and not to worry. Especially as we will have no more use for these archers very, very soon, once these armies join together. Alrighty, before we attack, let's also apply some points here. We have lots of good stuff. We can get a rally and on towards stand your ground, though I'm not entirely sure which thing we'll be getting here. Especially since he's a defender of men, and nonetheless, he's probably not a, I mean, despite the levels that we've gotten, he's probably not going to go into the field very often, and frankly the same thing's probably true of Peter. We're most likely going to have to replace them, mostly because Defender of Men is relatively useless outside of the forts and outside of a siege. Though I suppose if we take Peter, for example, and walk him all the way to Eckendorf, I do like to use Eckendorf as a sort of a choke point against many other enemy factions. We could always replace him and then summon him back at Eckendorf specifically for this purpose, though I suppose the same thing is also true of Peter. Maybe keep one here and then the other there, depends. Nakari could also come out and attack Bordelot, so we may want to keep one there while the other one marches southward. Although if we don't declare war on Nakari, maybe we march both of them southward to do whatever we need to here. And was the Warheart of the Shadowgave destroyed, or was just this one territory destroyed? Let's just double check here. Beastmen. Where are ya? Huh. Okay, so I guess they were destroyed then. Who the heck is here? Wait, you're not at war with Warheart of the Shadowgave anymore, are you? No, you're not. I'm a little bit confused, because these things should be then settled. They're not Bloodgrounds anymore. I guess they could be full of Skaven. Well, I guess we'll figure it out when we actually get down there. Alrighty, well that's enough of that. Let's have Karl attack. I don't imagine this should be all that difficult. Let's just take a look here, though. Is this worthy of a cinematic fight? I mean, there's a lot of Graveguard. We can always watch our units gun them down. Why not? And just for fun. It's just too entertaining to watch the handgunners, and the bordermen specifically, and go to work. Ooh, that reminds me, one other thing before we attack. There's always one other thing, isn't there? I want to see... Yes, there is a borderman unit ready to go, and I think I checked this last episode as well, but we do need to get that up and running. Also, Foot Reichsguard. How close are we? I just need to make sure that we have enough money, and then... Okay, this is... Wait. Wrong lord, you. I really wish there would, like, why wouldn't you show how many turns this is? It's so stupid. Oh, it's been like this for a while, too. Like, I just want to know how many turns until you're ready. Yeah, well, alright, well, we're fine for now. Anyway, let's get to it, shall we? Waldenhoff, another quick cinematic, just for the fun of it.
See to it! By the gods! What is that thing?
Well, here we go. We will try to see to it, Karl, as best we can. And oh wow, this vampiric town looks fantastic with those types of mountains in the background as well. Like the mountains fit right in, or the town fits right in with the mountain type. I also want to point out that despite this being a minor settlement, granted with a big defensive garrison building, as in the Tier 3 one, this is a pretty darn good garrison. They've got so many Graveguard, especially with great weapons, and a couple of Cairn Wraiths as well. I really strongly feel like the Tomb Kings, just thinking back to my Arcan campaign, oh, this is a little out. It's like a little mine where the dead can mine stuff. That's nice. Nice little touch. Makes sense for the location of the town. Although kind of interesting considering the fact that this particular location does not have any mine. Oh wow, this one goes quite deep down there too. But anyway, what was I saying? Something about something. Oh yes, the Arcan campaign. I'm just thinking back to the garrisons of the Tomb Kings being pretty garbage. All over skeleton warriors and spears and such, and no Tomb Guard as part of minor garrisons. And that is quite weak. Considering all the Graveguard that we've got in this garrison, plus Cairn Wraiths as well, which are quite nice. Especially in SFO. I wonder what the reason for that is. Or the reasoning, I should say, behind it, i.e. behind the SFO design. Why the Tomb King garrison in particular would be quite weak. And just the thought. Anyway, Karl's going to start the battle by going after the Vargeists in the air. We're going to send Theon in as well to help him out by applying his contact effect, blinded to the enemy, and making this just that much easier of a fight. The enemy debuffed with Helm of Discord, Bone Crusher, and Shield Breaker, and blinded, meaning that they're taking so much more damage from everything. 0 melee defense, in fact. If we could have just lowered their armor in some way as well. Galmaraz will have Sundering attacks, but I guess we'll probably lose a Bone Crusher. Would be nice to have both Bone Crusher and Sundering attacks, but they would overlap. I wonder if we could get, we could get somebody else with Bone Crusher, but we also don't have room for a lot of heroes. Anyway, the Vargeists are clearly done, and the enemy's going to charge forward with some skeleton warriors, but of course they're going to take grenade shots and handgunners attacking them at the same time. This is the limited number of skeletons that they have as in non-Graveguard units. But the enemy is sacrificing them, so they will be quite wasted here. Looks like the last of the Vargeists are landing down upon our Halberdiers and will be destroyed by the handgunners. This one was actually focusing them down specifically. Looks like more Graveguard are moving into the distance, or in the distance rather, and are starting to move towards our main lines. I also want to point out that we've had towers attacking us this entire time, a tier 3, a tier 3, and a tier 4. The tier 4 having just been destroyed by Karl and Theon, and the tier 3 being gunned down by a combination of our mortars and our 2 crossbows, who did take quite a long time to destroy it, interestingly enough. It looks like SFO gives the towers more missile resistance, at least by the looks of it. And just because how little these things were taking from the crossbow, just out of curiosity, let's see, wait. Where's the volley from the crossbows here? In a second, then we'll get back to the main fight. Okay, there it is. So we've got crossbows, yeah, see? It's barely dropping. That full volley did like 100 HP damage or something like that. And it might have overlapped with a shot from the from one of the mortars as well. Whereas in vanilla, the towers die extremely quickly to volley fire from ranged units. But that's fine. I mean, considering how defenses have changed, or how SFO has changed the sieges and pseudo-sieges like this with minor settlements, probably a good thing that the towers are a little bit more resistant. Unless the towers were changed by patch and not by SFO, but I'm not sure. Anyway, more Graveguard are coming, but we still have our handgunners and gunning them down, and our halberdiers that were summoned still out front and taking the brunt of the damage, which means no real unit losses, even if this halberdier unit is destroyed, which is perfectly fine by me. The last of the enemy towers looks like it's about to go down in the background once again as Karl and Theon get to work on it. And it looks like some dire doggos and zombies are going to charge in as well. Well, the dire dogs are going to charge and the zombies are going to get summoned. It looks like our poor unit of halberdiers is quite surrounded here, but the zombies are going to get shot in the back by all these halberds. A good thing for the enemy, however, as these units are distracting us and not allowing us to hit another unit of enemy Graveguard as they move in. Not that we could have, mind you, at least not with our bordermen, as they are moving down this way, as both Karl and Theon, in attacking this tower, have spotted both enemy units of Cairn Wraiths. Our bordermen are currently specialized with their anti-magic grenades, or grenade launchers, I guess, so they will be the ones to take these guys out, and maybe some help from our 2 magical damage-dealing heroes, as these are the most threatening units on the field. Looks like the enemy vampire has popped a Spirit Leech on Karl, and going to counter that by popping a Harmonic Convergence on him just to increase his armor and reduce the damage that he takes. Looks like 60 damage per tick of that. And the vigor loss is also quite annoying, but oh well. Here come the Cairn Wraiths, grenades exploding among them, and Karl and Theon both landing among them at the same time. And this will hope allow them to stop for a few seconds and allow Theon to cast a spell or two. There we go, that looks like it's done some decent damage. Let's check out the Cairn Wraiths, both of them in very bad shape already, and now we're popping that Helm of Discord to make sure that they don't hurt Karl too much, and allows our bordermen to continue firing. Ghouls are also approaching, and in fact, I believe the bordermen are actually focusing the ghouls and not the Cairn Wraiths, or will be, and so are the mortars. And just so that we don't accidentally hit our own units who are moving in. And there we go. Here come our Imperial Foot. Obviously can't be letting the enemy move in like that. And we're gonna get Theon out because he's taken a little bit of damage at this point, fighting together with Karl, mind you. But yeah, he's obviously going to take damage like this. And he has already used his healing potion, or not, he doesn't have a healing potion, his potion of toughness, so he can't heal more than he already has. Looks like some enemies have managed to break through and rout those halberdiers, so we're going to have to move back our own handgunners while the Reiksguard charge in and finally get to play a little. And there we go, versus those Graveguard. These are sword-wielding, sword and board, I mean, not great sword-wielding Graveguard, however, so they're not all that threatening to the Reiksguard due to their lack of armor piercing, or I should say, a relative lack. What's the armor piercing on the Reiksguard at? It's only 20 as well. It's a little bit light, and another reason that we're probably going to want to replace the 2 halberdier units that we have with a couple of units of Demigryph Knights later on, mostly because our Reiksguard will be... They'll probably be suffering a little bit in the early game, or at least they will struggle against more heavily armored units. They're not going to win a fight against a unit of Chaos Knights, is what I'm getting at. But of course, if a unit or 2 of halberd-wielding Demigryphs are interspersed or intermixed with these units of Reiksguard, then it'll be a little bit better. Karl landing upon another enemy unit here. You can watch him fight a little bit. Yeah, minor battle or not, we're gonna get some nice shots. Ooh, that's a nice animation. Yeah, Karl and Deathclaw definitely have some nice animations in terms of their attacks. I have mentioned quite a bit of that. There's quite a bit of animation power creep, essentially, over the course of the game, as in the animations from the later stuff are significantly better than some of the earlier stuff. Then again, some, of course, like, there are a bunch of early stuff, there is a bunch of early stuff that has really good animations as well, but I was just thinking like Valkia and stuff, great animations. Anyway, I'm gonna speed this up just a little bit as more enemies move in and we move up ourselves as well. The Sons of Sigmar, or is it Sigmar's Sons? Sigmar's Sons. Move up, and they're going to block off these great swords. The great sword's going to start taking crossbow shots from the side and handgunners as well, which is why we left open this fireland. It looks like the enemy is going to pop another Spirit Leech upon us here, and we're going to once again counter that with the Harmonic Convergence, bumping the Sigmar Sun's stats just to insane degrees. 204 armor, 78-87 melee attack and defense. They can certainly hold the ground, I'm sure, against a single unit of Graveguard, and especially with all the support that we have here. Plus, it'll help against the friendly fire from our own ranks as well, so there's dual value in that. Alrighty, it looks like these Graveguard are nearly done for. Another unit, I believe, moving down as well, though we are focusing one down with our mortars. Over here, we've had the Bordermen move in by themselves together with the Imperial Foot. After the destruction of those cairn rakes, we're going to loop around and try to find another unit for them to grenade. Otherwise, it looks like the last hurrah of the enemy army as the Vampire charges our lines directly. Looks like she'll manage to kill a few handgunners, but we're going to counter-charge her with our own Reiksguard, surround and kill. And then the last unit of enemy Graveguard is currently fighting great swords and Reiksguard alike. Karl and Theon both pretty damaged at this point, so we are being a little bit careful and waiting for the enemy to engage, and there we go. Theon now going to move in and just to apply that blind into the enemy. And Karl instead is going to go after the enemy Vampire. And that's what Galmaraz is meant for after all, or at least one of the things. And there we go, looks like the enemy army has at this point shattered. The enemy is crumbling. The Vampire, I believe, has fallen, or is about to fall actually, kind of hard to tell in there. And now we just need to wait for the rest of the enemies to disappear. Crumble apart, Graveguard, return to the grave, and plague the Empire no more. Mortars, stop it. You really gotta be careful with the mortars. They just love to switch targets, and specifically to the worst possible target that they could think of. It's even worse when you have a Hellstorm that could devastate your own lines if they switch to the wrong target. I immediately ended the battle as fast... Or wait, actually I didn't end the battle. The battle ended. Never mind. There is nothing to chase because it's an enemy vampire count's army. There we go. Decisive victory for us, and I believe we have 2 more settlements remaining to the vampires, at least in Sylvania. There's still mountain settlements, but we're nearly done here. Alright, there we go. I was hoping for a little bit less or a little bit more prestige, rather. Whereas the damage, 51 units out of 1400, pretty darn decent. That I am happy with. Got Theon a little bit hurt, a little bit more hurt than I would like as well. You just gotta be a little bit more careful over the next couple of battles to allow him to return to good form. Now we're gonna occupy the place, obviously. Let's get to that going. Follower gained another Hedge Wizard, a Talisman of Protection, a Light College Acolyte. Seduce units, eh? Well, we're not fighting Slaanesh yet, but we probably will be.
Here.
And, wait, can they seduce a the state troops? Would be really annoying to lose a high-level a unit of Imperial Foot, or actually it would be annoying to lose any of the units of state troops in general. It would be unfortunate, but anyway. Karl, you've leveled up, so let's get you a level. We are currently, I believe, building out your main line, yes? We do have Sigmar's Ward, which we can get as well, which will reduce our casualties suffered. And I do like the idea. It's only 10, mind you, but it's still nice. 10% from that, and then 30% from that, and then and then another 10% from the Imperial Adjutant. Honest Steel is what we currently have. We should, I guess, still get Speed of Horse. Oh, I did want to see. If we get Speed of Horse, we could also increase the capacity for Empire Captains. Let's see if there's any good Imperial Captains available right now, just in case. Because if there are, maybe we take one. Regal, kill the heretics, and no. Then we can wait until a better one comes available to get Heroic Knightly banned. What I do think that we want to check, though, Speed of Course gives +6 for Empire Knights and Reiksguard. You currently have 30 charge, so if we give this to you, you have 36, alrighty. So the Speed of Horse, ironically, buffs the infantry as well. Well, Imperial Foot infantry. This is actually decent, so they'll have a stronger charge, and they are lacking in charge. Granted, I would have preferred melee attack and defense, or possibly even weapon strength, but nonetheless, and it'll give them armor as well. The armor that the Greatswords wanted, but frankly, the Greatswords are more heavily armored than the Imperial Foot somehow. So, yeah, we'll leave that as it is. Theon, you've leveled up. Let's get to you. What were we going through? We don't need Chain Lightning, at least not currently. We have been using Wind Blast a lot. I feel like we should probably still max it out, even though there are very nice things here. You know what? Actually, no, Miscast Chance. He's been miscasting a fair amount lately. And, oh, Sigmar's Ward is combinable. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. I didn't know that. We'll make good use of that then. And, right, we also gotta get Onslaught as well. You gotta watch out with this guy's points. There's still a lot of points. Also, somebody suggested getting a Witch Hunter in the comments of last episode to put in the Fire While Moving army, and I really like that idea as well. The Witch Hunter could serve pretty nicely here, so as soon as we have one available, we will do so. Maybe even we'll build a temporary Witch Hunter place here, the Tavern. And it'll need to be level 2. But we could build it and then pop the Witch Hunter out and delete it, possibly. On the other hand, this place will be a cash cow, so maybe we don't want to waste our time with this, so we build it somewhere else. I'll think about it. We'll have to figure out where exactly we build those, though, because frankly, the actual building, while it does provide a lot of control, we are certainly not lacking in control in most places. Maybe in Marienburg? Altdorf will never need it, and will never have room either. Well, we'll figure it out. Anyway, I do believe we are now going to end the turn here. Let's build the walls immediately at Waldenhoff. There's a decent chance that we will at some point get attacked by the Greenskins through this particular territory, and frankly, if we move north to retake Ostermark's territories, then we will still probably need to wall those up as well, so yeah. And if we get into a war with Draika, Waldenhoff will be in danger as well. Anyway, let's get growth in combination with that, and, at least temporarily, we will get Council of Burgo, we will get State Troop Levy for the extra campaign movement range. It'll help us more. Hopefully we'll heal up a decent amount here, though not as decent as I'd like, mind you. It might actually be beneficial to have Wolfram take Eschen, so that Karl can move back to Castle Tempelhof, though I guess the question here will be whether we will still be able to reach Castle Drakenhof from there. And because if that's the case, we should definitely take advantage of that, as in heal much more here than we would in Eschen. And Wolfram can, of course, hold Eschen. Anyway, I believe with that we end the turn. Yes, everything's good. Buildings are good. Diplomacy is looking pretty okay. Correct, Kadrin's nearly ready for a trade agreement, eh?
Aye, am Iron Fist. Some call me a king.
And you're at war with the same stuff we're at war. Okay, that doesn't help then. It would have been nice. Actually, how much do you want for this? Or how much? 10k, yeah, no.
Aye.
It really feels like the amount of money everybody wants for everything has risen. Tolzen. Now, I wasn't originally going to do the Defensive Alliance, but maybe there is good reason for it. Even if that does mean we will eventually be forced to fight with Clan Angrand. I'd rather have the Wood Elves as allies. Because we have Karazakarak already. And we'll see, though. I don't necessarily want to kill Angrand, it's just that it may become necessary to do so, and I really don't want to deal with the Wood Elves, because their territories are garbage to us. And yeah, let's delete you, or get to delete you. Let's get that Defensive Alliance going. Are you able to trade? Only 10k, so no, you're not able to trade. Yeah, so, So if we ask for a trade agreement, that's 2 points, and it'll cost us 10k. If we get 2 points... 2.9, 3 points in fact, they'll only give us 800. AI? It seems a little unfair. Alrighty, well, let's just do the Defensive Alliance. There you go, buddy. And we will build an outpost, I guess, in the Great Tree. Yeah. Can we build an outpost in the Great Tree? I feel like you can. Yes, you can. Okay, well, or the Oak of Ages. I'm probably going to continue calling it Great Tree, though. Yeah, let's go for the level 1 outpost. Just want to build it before somebody else gets the outpost there. It's usually fairly difficult to get outposts with the Wood Elves in general, which is why we had to build the one at Paravent rather than at Waterfall Palace. Anyway, now we're good. Let's end the... Did I check... peace and other things. Oh, Argolan's nearly ready for a military alliance as well, but we're gonna hold off on that. And yeah, we're good here. Well, let's end the turn, though we are very much out of time. I just want to see if anything interesting happens, but then that'll be the end of this episode. We'll be going to Castle Drakenhof next time. Alright, mostly I'm curious to see what the Greenskins will do in this particular area. And pretty curious to see what Kurun will do as well. Ooh, did Angrand just lose another territory? Parts of Sotos have taken the western border princes. Now, looks like the pirates are doing a lot. I see Musion just fell to Kurun, but to the Bordelot territory is still standing, which means we should be able to get Bordelot. Alrighty, hello, what do we have here? Confederation offered with Nordland. Nordland we are not going to confederate with right now, so that'll put us up to 10 Imperial Authority. I don't think we've read this, though, so we're going to read it right now. Great strides have been... Okay, we've always read that. Nordland holds sway over a large territory, but Baron Gosser's rule extends to barely half the land he claims. Its expansive woodlands are rich in resources such as timber and furs, but the area is also on the Empire's front line against Norscan raids. Will you accept Nordland's offer of confederation? Not right now. Certain independence. Huh. Interesting. Oh, wow, that made a huge difference in terms of our money. Damn, it'll be unfortunate to lose it, but I'd still think that confederating Talabecland will be worth it. Kind of interesting that it doesn't talk about Drakwold. Drakwold used to be a province, and the woods here is the Drakwold Woods, right? And the province, I believe, was destroyed and then their territory given by and large to Nordland. Unless I'm misremembering. Once again, it's been a long time since I've read Empire books. But that's why we have the Reikland, the Drakwold Runefang. Not the Dragon Tooth, but Beast Slayer. Where are you? Who did I give that one to? You have it. Beast Slayer is a Drakwold Runefang, yes. One of the 12 magical swords belonging to the Empire's electric counts. Beast Slayer has taken down many of the hideous monsters infesting the dark, dense Drakwold forest. So yeah, should be up here, destroyed, given to Nord. And as I recall, it was like suspicious circumstances. Also, Solend shouldn't actually exist. The Balthazar Geltz province, it was also destroyed. The timeline's very screwy here, because there are things that exist that shouldn't exist at the same time in the same timeline, but, well, you had to take the liberties. Anyway, I will digress no longer on this little mini lore rant. I'm gonna call it here. Next time we advance towards Vlad and Castle Drakenhof, as well as possibly Bordelot, if we have time. And there should be some decent pickups in both locations, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.